So No Man's Sky on Switch 2, if you've been following the channel, you'll know I covered this upgrade around 2 months ago when it first dropped on the Switch 2 at launch alongside the Beacon update. But here's the thing, the more I've played it, the deeper I've gotten into it, and honestly, I just keep finding now new reasons to, return to it. But before we do dive into this properly today, I need to let you all know this video is sponsored by Hello Games and No Man's Sky. They reached out because they wanted to showcase what they've accomplished with the Switch 2 version, and after spending weeks with it, I am genuinely excited to help them out with this mission. So if you are enjoying the coverage today, do me a massive favor, hit subscribe. We're a smaller channel, been grinding away at this for now like 7 years, covering everything Nintendo Switch, and your support genuinely, it makes a huge difference. Let's start with what No Man's Sky actually is in 2025, because if you bounced off this game early or haven't touched it in years, you genuinely have no idea what it's become. This is one of the most ambitious games ever made, and I do not throw that around lightly. We're talking about a truly open universe where if you can see something in the sky, you can actually go there. The star twinkling millions of miles away? Fly to it. That distant planet hanging in space? You can land on it, walk around, build entire settlements, whatever you want. But here's what really makes it special. Every single thing you discover is genuinely unique. I'm not talking about palette swaps or slight variations, I mean completely unique creatures, plant life, geological formations, even the alien ships you encounter. Every time you scan something new, you could literally be the first person in the universe to see it. And there is something incredibly satisfying about that idea, about the concept of uploading those discoveries and knowing they could potentially permanently be tied to your name in this shared galactic database. And look, I've been following this game since day one. I was there for that absolutely disastrous 2016 launch when half the promised features were missing, when people were rightfully furious. I went and picked it up physical and it just disappointed. It felt a little bit like false advertising almost. But I've also watched Hello Games spend the last 9 years transforming this thing into something genuinely special, and the Switch 2 version, it represents, for me at least, the culmination of that entire journey. Let me walk you through what that journey actually looks like, because the transformation is honestly incredible. We started with the Foundation update in late 2016, that's when base building first appeared. You could finally create a home somewhere in this vast universe to live. Then Pathfinder in early 2017, that gave us planetary vehicles, those exocraft that let you actually explore planet surfaces properly. Plus it even dropped the ability to own multiple ships and share bases with other players. Atlas Rises then in August 2017 was huge. That completely rewrote the central story. It added proper mission systems and gave us our first taste of multiplayer with those weird glowing orb representations of other players. But the real game changer was next in July 2018. That's when everything clicked. Full multiplayer support, proper third-person view, unlimited base building, the ability to play with friends properly, and that's when it stopped feeling like a tech demo and just started feeling like an actual experience. Since then, well, the updates just kept coming. Abyss took us underwater with submarines and deep-sea exploration. Visions added these incredible exotic biomes with rainbow planets and flying creatures. Beyond expanded multiplayer even further, and it even added proper settlements. Living Ship let you grow your own organic spacecraft. Desolation gave us these creepy abandoned freighters to explore. And Origins completely overhauled planetary generation again. We've had mechs, we've had expeditions that are basically seasonal events, we've had settlements you can manage like a city building game. The Frontiers update let you become an overseer managing entire planetary towns. Worlds Part 2 earlier this year added gas giants and completely transformed how planets generate. We're talking about 39 major named updates over 9 years. This isn't just post-launch support, it's a complete reinvention of what the game even is. And that brings us to what makes No Man's Sky so special right now. The survival mechanics give all that exploration real stakes. You're constantly vulnerable out there. Toxic storms that'll kill you in minutes, aggressive wildlife that hunts in packs, pirates lurking in deep space waiting to ambush you, underwater predators in those beautiful but dangerous oceans. Every expedition into unknown territory, it feels genuinely risky. And that's where the progression loop gets its hooks in you. You're constantly scavenging for materials to improve your exosuit, upgrade your ship's weapons and shields, build better mining equipment. The ultimate goal might be reaching the center of the galaxy, but honestly, There's so much more to get distracted by along the journey. Base building, ship hunting, exploring different biomes, the game just keeps expanding the further you get into it. And the base building in particular has become genuinely incredible. You can build anywhere now, high in mountains, deep underwater, floating in space on your freighter. The possibilities are pretty much endless, and seeing what the community comes up with, it's always impressive. And the multiplayer aspect has transformed everything. You can team up with your friends for dangerous expeditions into uncharted space. You can build massive collaborative bases. You could set up trade routes between settlements. The crossplay works seamlessly across all platforms, so it doesn't matter what your friends are playing on. And now here is where the Switch 2 version becomes something special. The original Switch port back in 2022 was okay. It was actually impressive for the hardware it was on. It ran, which was honestly just impressive in itself. You know, the hardware itself was already 5 years old at that point. But it was blurry, the loading times were painful, and it was missing multiplayer entirely. You were stuck playing solo while everyone else got to experience this shared universe together. The Switch 2 changes everything. First off, this is the complete experience, full multiplayer support with crossplay, all the latest updates and features, the new settlement systems from Beacon, the gas giants and water worlds from Worlds Part 2, everything is here. But it's the technical improvements that really blow me away. The lighting system has been completely overhauled. Planets actually look atmospheric now instead of kind of flat and almost lifeless. You got proper cloud formations casting realistic shadows, star fields that feel infinite. The foliage is sharp and vibrant instead of that kind of like muddy blur we had on Switch 1. Shadows have real definition even, and the draw distance actually lets you see terrain features on the horizon instead of just fog. The performance is where it gets even more impressive here, not only a higher resolution, but on the original Switch version it was locked for a decent amount to 30 FPS, but it wasn't consistent. You get stutters when streaming in new areas, hitches when landing on planets, frame drops during storms. This Switch 2 build, however, not only eliminates most of that stuttering, but it can actually push past 30 FPS regularly. I'm hitting 40 to 50 when exploring on foot or cruising through space. During those epic moments when you're breaking atmosphere and transitioning from planet to space, it is incredible. Load times then as well have been cut down massively too. Getting into the game used to take over a minute on the original Switch, and now it's closer to 30 to 40 seconds. More importantly, that really annoying thing where terrain and buildings would still be loading in around you when you landed on the planet. Yes, of course there's popping, it's a bloody massive game, but it's pretty much eliminated. The world feels solid, it feels consistent now. The UI improvements then are subtle, but they make a huge difference thanks to the new visuals, the new clarity. Everything from the ship cockpit displays to inventory management looks crisp and readable. On the original Switch, text was often blurry and a little hard to read. Now it's crystal clear, whether you're docked or in handheld mode. What really gets me though, is how all these technical improvements serve the core experience. When you're flying seamlessly from the surface of a planet up through the atmosphere and into space, that transition feels magical in a way it never quite did on the original Switch. And look, I love that system, I love that build of the game, I think it was a miracle what they achieved. But here, when you're exploring with friends or even playing solo and you discover some incredible vista, the improved visuals make these moments feel just genuinely special. And look, in my opinion, this Switch 2 upgrade represents something bigger than just one game running better. We're already seeing some lazy third-party ports hitting the system, quick cash grabs that barely take advantage of the new hardware, and this isn't one of them. Hello Games rebuilt this from the ground up for Switch 2 and it shows. You know, they didn't just bump up some setting and call it a day. They optimized the engine, added all the latest features, ensured crossplay worked perfectly. They rebuilt things like lighting engines. This is what effort looks like. And that same feeling goes for the core game itself. You know, earlier in this video, we covered like the first 4 or 5 years of upgrades. Right now, we just had the Beacon update and the settlement system, a perfect example of how far they're pushing things. You can now manage multiple settlements across different planets, each with their own citizens, resources, and problems to solve. You're making decisions about expansion, dealing with pirate raids, managing happiness levels. It adds this whole city management layer that feels completely natural within the broader exploration framework. The creature interactions have gotten much deeper too. You can tame and ride wildlife now, feed them, milk them for resources, even breed them for specific traits. It adds this whole layer of creature collecting that feels completely natural within, again, the exploration framework. The space combat has been completely overhauled as well. Ship weapons feel impactful, enemy AI is more aggressive and varied, and those Massive freighter battles can involve dozens of ships trading fire across multiple star systems. When you're flying in formation with friends, or again solo, coordinating attacks on pirate bases, it feels genuinely epic. So yeah, for early Switch 2 adopters, this is exactly the kind of game that justifies the hardware upgrade. This is a technical showcase wrapped up in nearly a decade of continuous development and refinement. The fact that you can take this massive living universe with you anywhere and have it run this smoothly, that is the promise of portable gaming realized. And if you've never experienced No Man's Sky properly, or it's been a few years, jump back in, it's changed a lot. Perhaps you bounced off it a few years ago. Don't worry about that, different game. This is absolutely just the time to jump back in. The Switch 2 version as well isn't just a port, it's a definitive handheld way to experience one of gaming's most incredible redemption stories. The thing about No Man's Sky though is that it rewards the time you put into it. Every session feels like you're making meaningful progress towards something bigger, whether that's upgrading your ship, expanding your base, progressing through the story, or just exploring for the pure joy of discovery. And now you can do all of that anywhere with friends with such beautiful visuals and resolution, all that good stuff. This quality level, the game just deserves all of the attention. So basically, I keep coming back to this. And I intend to keep on coming back. No Man's Sky in 2025 is not the same game that launched in 2016, and it's a hell of a step up over that Switch 1 build. It's bigger, deeper, more social and more polished, more technically impressive. It is a living example of what happens when developers don't give up on their vision, when they listen to feedback and keep iterating and improving. Now, have you tried No Man's Sky on Switch 2 yet? Let me know in the comments what you think of this upgrade. Are you a veteran coming back or a newcomer experiencing it for the first time? And if there are other Switch 2 ports you want me to dive deep on, like this, drop those suggestions below too. And then thanks to Hello Games for sponsoring this video, but honestly, thank you Hello Games for crafting something this special, for upgrading it, for supporting it all of these years later and giving Switch 2 players the build they actually deserve for this game. Alright, now thank you to all of you for watching. If you enjoyed this one, hit that subscribe button, it genuinely helps a smaller channel like mine a huge amount. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Cheers all.